Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary and high school age. Today we are going to be doing a wrap up of January goals, as well as what I have on tap for February. So let's get into it. Okay guys, I do actually have coffee here with me. My throat is still not 100% when I am recording this, so hopefully it will continue to work throughout the entire video. I may have to take a little break between filming my January recap and turning the camera around to figure out what I'm going to do for February. If you've watched any of my last couple of videos, there have only been a couple of videos because I have been sick. My kids were sick. We were really sick for several weeks, and that meant that January did not get off to a great start. Well, that's not entirely accurate. We started back to homeschool on the 6th, and that was really good. We had several really strong days, and then Lucy got sick, and she had a really high fever for, I think, 4 or 5 days, and it would always be spiking overnight, and so I was not sleeping at all. And then Emma and Jack got sick, and then towards the end of their being sick, I ended up getting sick. So that has been January. Now, I did get quite a bit done this month. I'm looking down at my Power Sheets right now. If you don't know, I do use a Power Sheets goals planner. I believe that they are sold out for this year of their 1-year Power Sheets. However, they do have the Fresh Start daily and weekly planners, which are undated 90-day goal setting planners. It also includes daily or weekly planning pages in them. So those are available, and they do have all of the same prep work and everything. I did go through a whole series on prep work for 2025 on YouTube, as well as more of a deep dive on goal setting in my membership community. I will leave those videos linked for you if you're interested. I will also leave January's goals video for you. I first of all struggled getting my January goals set up. That week between Christmas and New Year's did not feel like a reset for me the way that it normally does, and I just wasn't really as prepared for January as I typically am, and that's okay. And I have mentioned this many times that if you are not ready to go on the first of the month, that is totally okay. I think that I may have mentioned this already, that I started my goals, my January goals, on January 6th. And even then, I was still working on resetting for the year. And I knew that when I set up my goals, that I was not going to be all in on 2025 goals. I still had a lot of prep stuff to do, getting my planners set up and things like that, and trying a few new things. I think that this year overall is going to be a year of trial and error, trying to set up some new systems. I really have wanted to focus on slowing down as well as creating more. And creating more is like hobby-based things for me. Like, I used to do a lot of knitting and sewing and scrapbooking, and I want to incorporate those things, and gardening. I didn't even plant a garden last year because I had shingles, so that was why. Also a reason that I want to focus on my health and resting. And so January was a lot of forced rest for me because I just had no energy and I couldn't get anything done. And, but like I said, I did get a few things done on my goals. So that's what I'm going to share with you now. I'm going to go through my monthly projects, my weekly rhythms, and my daily habits, and kind of just share how all of that went. And then I will turn the camera around and we will set up February together. I'm hoping that I can get a good handle on things as we start February and that I start to make progress on these goals. I did not do quarterly action plans for my goals for this year. And I always do quarterly action plans, and they really help me stay on track and help me figure out exactly what I want to do each month. But when I sat down to do my quarterly action plans at the end of December, I just didn't know what to put down. And so I know that I still need to brainstorm more, and I just haven't had the time. So we will see how February turns out. I know that I said this in my January video. I said that I was going to turn the camera around and set up January with you, and then I just didn't know what to put. And so I actually didn't do that on camera. I did walk through it with you guys, but I just needed to sit down and work on the goals and kind of flesh things out. So I'm hoping for the best. We will see. But first, I'm going to start with my monthly projects and just kind of share overall how the year has started. All right, so my encouraging words were it's okay to grow slow. And I actually have a sticker from Cultivate What Matters that said, it's okay to grow slow. And I'm glad that I put that there because this month was definitely slow. My priority was to get back into a good rhythm. And I kind of feel like we are getting there. It's the 28th when I'm filming right now, and so we do have a few days left in the month. We are just getting back into a homeschool rhythm. I took like a full week off from teaching the kids. They were still doing math and English and some little passion project things, but we have not really gotten back into a good homeschool rhythm. I'm trying to do that this week, and I do feel like things are going better. So I do feel like that part of it is good, but we were all over the place for the middle of the month. So it was a little crazy. So the first thing on my monthly action items was to cultivate my calendar. And I did do that. I did give myself full credit. I did go through and choose the days that I want my monthly reset, as well as I started to think about that 13th week that the 12-week year talks about. The 12-week year is all about setting quarterly goals and having your entire focus be on those quarterly goals and not really setting yearly goals. I do set overarching yearly goals, but typically I am mainly focused on quarterly projects and then the breakdown from there. And then depending on how that quarter goes is how the next quarter will shape up, just because it's easier to plan for a shorter period of time than a longer period of time. You just don't have any, I mean, you can kind of guess on how your year overall will go, but looking at a full year, it's just too hard to figure out exactly what situations may come up over the course of the year. I was not expecting us to be sick or as sick as we were. Usually when we have a sickness, we can still kind of keep going and push through, but I was just completely out. And that's very abnormal. I don't think I've been this sick in probably 5 years. So, you just don't know what's going to come up over the course of the year. And so you don't want to get discouraged if you plan stuff out and it doesn't go to plan. So I did cultivate my calendar. I was just, there are still some more things that I want to do, mainly surrounding like vacations and adventuring. One of the things that I want to do more of this year is doing like weekend trips. I would like to have some sort of weekend adventure, one weekend a month. We really haven't had that for January. So we will see going into February. The weather has been super cold and there's not any snow on the ground. I mean, we have a couple of inches, but it's not enough for like sledding or snowmobiling or anything. So it's not been quite as exciting, but I did give myself full credit. I do feel good about the year overall and just kind of the seasons and how our year is going to look. So that was the first monthly action item. And I forget because we're right at the start of the year. I need to kind of go over what my goals are again. So this Cultivate My Calendar is part of my Create Restful Rhythms and Systems that Nurture Myself and My Family goal. The next part of that goal was to do planner setups, and that was for the Common Planner, which is the planner that I started the year with, my financial planner, my home planner, and my work stuff. And I did do all of that. However, with the caveat being that I am not using the Common Planner. I thought I was going to be in the Common Planner. I was really excited about all of the ideas that I had. However, in like the functionality of the Common Planner, just wasn't going to work for me. And so instead, I'm back in my vertical weekly Erin Condren life planner, as well as my A5 daily duo from Erin Condren, and that just works the best for me. And I am still tracking a lot of the stuff that I wanted to keep track of in the common planner, but I'm just doing it in my 2 life planners instead. And I just know that that is the best system for me. And for the past 3 years now, I have tried a new system at the start of January and always come back to my Erin Condren products. And I think that I'm crossing my fingers that this year I will just be smart and not get that, oh, there's something new out there that I want to try, and instead just stay with my EC stuff. Planner launch season is just around the corner in a couple of months. I'm really excited about it. So I am just going to stay with my Erin Condren stuff and be happy with that. The next thing on my monthly action items is relating to create a sanctuary at home filled with peace, love, and togetherness. And that was to reset my house. And I gave myself half credit for this. I have not done nearly as much as I wanted to. Usually January is a big decluttering month for me. Once we get all of the Christmas stuff put away, I typically will go through my kitchen and my pantry and all of the cabinets and kind of just do like a big clean out of them. I would like to say that it's almost like spring cleaning, but in January, but then I do like another spring cleaning thing, usually around April. Anyways, I wanted to completely reset the house. I have done some stuff. I have brand new bookshelves behind me. So I did work on my office, which is good, but I wanted to get through my basement before we started back to homeschool. I have not done my homeschool bins, which is something on here. I didn't clean out the kitchen the way that I wanted to. I'm just kind of like just getting back into things. So I have a feeling that a lot of this stuff will end up as part of my February goals, or they may end up in March as part of like spring cleaning type stuff as well. The next thing on my monthly projects was also part of my home goal, and that was to make a home projects list and share it with my husband. And so essentially what I did was I just went through the big home projects that we need to focus on for this year. Nothing like fun, but things like we need a new culvert for our driveway because our culvert is starting to collapse. We also really need to replace our garage roof. Those are 2 like really big spends for us. And so just making sure that we're saving money for that. That is all part of that monthly project, and I did give myself full credit for it, so I'm feeling good about that. The next monthly project is relating to my create a wellness rhythm that balances health, joy, and creativity. And so this is partly health related, rest related, but also hobby related. And so the monthly project was to print January and December pictures, and I did print most of the pictures. I did not give myself full credit yet. I have like 2/3 credit. There are still a few days left in the month, and so I am probably going to print out pictures for this week as well. It's not printing out a ton of pictures. It's honestly just choosing a few pictures from my phone. It's deleting pictures that I don't need, and then it's printing them out on the little photo printer that I purchased back in November, which I love this photo printer. I will leave it linked for you. It is a little pricey, but it prints out 4x6 photos and it does a really nice job. And I have wanted to print more pictures, not necessarily to do a bunch of scrapbooking, although maybe later in the year I will get back to that, but just to have pictures to slide in a 4x6 album to kind of document our days. And so I did all of December and I've done most of January. So I do think that I will finish that up this week. The next 3 monthly projects are relating to my create a learning environment that inspires my kids' passions and prepares them for real-world independence. It's my homeschool goal. The first was to have a brainstorm meeting with Emma. If you saw my homeschool update, you will know that she has decided she wants to graduate this year. And because she's a full year early, we just aren't sure what is going to come next. I don't know if she's going to want to go to the community college in the fall, or if she's going to want to enroll as a homeschooler for another year and do dual enrollment classes. She's really focused on her writing right now. She's trying to finish up editing her novel and she wants to self-publish it this year. And so she's really focused a lot on that, and we're just not sure what's next. She knows that she's not going away to college in the fall of 2025. If she does go away to college, it will most likely be in the fall of 2026 when all of her friends graduate. Like, that's her Like if she were in public school, she would not be graduating this year. She would be graduating in spring of 2026. So we have like an extra year to play with. I don't know what we're going to do. She does qualify for free community college in the state of Maine, so that's great, but she's just unsure what she wants to do. And so we are having a lot of brainstorming meetings to figure out what the next steps are. And we have come to zero decisions. So there's that. The next thing was to update transcripts with first semester courses, and I did do that, so I feel good about that, as well as, updating any course descriptions and finalizing some grades. Jack finished his digital music production course in the fall, and so that is done. So that was full credit. The next thing was the homeschool bins, which I have not done. I don't even know how I'm going to organize the homeschool stuff, and I'm kind of overwhelmed with all of the books that we have. Again, I have packed up pre-K through second or third grade of homeschool books, but I have homeschool curriculum from pre-K all the way through 12th grade. It's a lot of books because we're literature-based learners, and I just don't know what to do with all of the books. And I don't know how to organize the stuff because the kids don't really do homeschool in the basement, which when we bought this house, that was kind of the idea because we have a full finished basement, and that's where the majority of the homeschool books live. However, now I have like our current year's books are up here in my office just because it's easier for me to grab them when I need them for planning or whatnot, or for the kids when they need them. So I don't know. I really need to kind of go through my entire basement and clean it out and then just figure out what to do. I mentioned this, I think, in one of my vlogs recently, that I think that I would like to do a yard sale, and then hopefully people would want to buy some of that homeschool curriculum. I don't know. That's a lot of work too, and I don't know if it's worth it, so we'll see. We'll see. The next thing on my monthly action items is relating to create meaningful adventures that strengthen family bonds and nurture my own sense of wonder. And that was to start the process of getting passports. I have not done anything for that. Well, that's not true. I had downloaded the applications and I was just kind of looking at the requirements, what we needed, but I didn't make any appointments. We haven't done pictures. I haven't filled out the applications. All of that stuff I need to still do. And then I also need to figure out a day when my husband is around so that we can both go to apply for the passports for the kids. And so we haven't done any of that stuff. I was kind of hoping to have that done in January so that, in a couple of months we would get them, but it is what it is. The next thing on my list is relating to my work goal, and that is time tracking. And I started out doing this the week of the 6th. I'm using the A Tracker app. I think it's like $5. There is a free version, but it doesn't give you any functionality, so you kind of have to pay the $5. And essentially what it is you put all of your tasks in it. You can add however many you have. I think there may be a limit, like 100 or something. But essentially what it is you go in and you just tap the task when you're doing the task, and it times it for you. And yes, that part of it does take a little bit of time, but it is so interesting to see how my time tracks for the day as a whole and weeks as a whole. So I started doing that for a couple of days at the beginning of January, and then I've just started again yesterday. Today's Tuesday, so yesterday was the first day that I started using that A Tracker app again. And I am a big proponent of doing a weekly time inventory. So that's essentially going in and writing what you're doing in 30-minute increments throughout the day, 15 or 30-minute increments. I have a whole workshop in my membership community going over time inventories and how to use them to create block scheduling. But this is a little bit different in that it will track specific tasks. And obviously you can decide how granular you want to go with these tasks, but I have them kind of color coded, and they're very specific things that I do throughout my day. Like, how long am I spending making meals? How long am I doing dishes, how long am I doing laundry, how long am I organizing spaces, how long am I homeschooling Lucy in English, that type of thing, because I really wanted a good understanding of how long each individual task was taking me. And so that just, once I have done that, probably for a month, I will have a good amount of data to say, okay, well, I know that this is the amount of time that I'm spending filming videos. So now I know, okay, well, I need X number of hours for filming, and this is how long editing is taking me on average. And so I need to make sure that I am scheduling that time, because I cram a lot into my days and I wear a lot of different hats. And so just understanding how long specific things are taking me is helpful. And I do have things like scrolling on there, just like, if I'm just mindlessly on Instagram, or if I am running errands for something specific, all of the pieces related to my recurring tasks for work stuff, all of that, it's all included. And I really like that app. I think it's very valuable. The last thing on my monthly action items is relating to my rhythms and systems goal, that first goal that I mentioned, and that is my monthly reset day, which is Thursday, the 30th. I am ready to turn the page and get into February, because January has been a mess. That was a lot. I feel like I'm just chatting a lot because I haven't done very many videos lately, and so I have a lot of words. The next section are my weekly rhythms, and these have been not as great. So weekly planning, I did not do except for this week. Sabbath rest, I did every Sunday. Part of that was because I was just very sick, and so for a couple of those weeks, but I did still give myself credit because I wasn't doing work. And even this past Sunday, I originally was going to try and do a bunch of office cleanup stuff, because I had started cleaning out my office closet and everything on Saturday, but then I just did not want to do the work stuff on Sunday, and so I didn't, and I am actually pleased about that. I don't want things to pile up and then say, oh, well, I have to do it on Sunday. I still want to take that rest. And it does mean that sometimes my Mondays are a little more chaotic. Like I had a ton of laundry to do yesterday because I hadn't really done it on Sunday. And so that's okay. But it's just recognizing that I'm taking a full stop from working. Yes, I am still doing some things. I'm still making meals. I still did a grocery pickup. I still, am spending time with the kids and, vacuuming and things like that. But just a little bit more of a break, no big projects and stuff. We'll see. So I do feel good about that. The next weekly rhythm is part of my creating a home that is a sanctuary goal, and that was a bowl full of lemons home organization challenge. And I have done the first week, which is the office, and I don't even know if I could really qualify my office as being completely done, because I did get rid of a ton of stuff. I'm just looking around my office right now, but my closet, I just don't know how to organize the things that are still in there, and it's just like random stuff that I just don't know how to organize. And my closet just has shelves in it, so I don't know. I have like random notebooks. I have like our Florida pictures that I still haven't gotten in the album, even though that was part of my yearly goals for last year. I have some of the pictures that I've printed out from December and January. I have my December daily stuff, which I never got to. I have a basket of yarn. I have like my stationery and envelopes and extra pens in my morning basket, but it's like I don't really have an organizational system for those things. They're just kind of on the shelf, so I need to figure that out. And I do still have some journals and notebooks, guided journals and notebooks, and old planners that are on my desk shelves. Like I have a shelf under the desk, and I kind of need to go through that stuff, and I haven't, but I am feeling much better about things now, so I did give myself credit for that. But I did not, that was the first week, and I have not done any of the other weeks. Linen closets, I believe, is the next project, and I did put that on my list for today, but I don't expect it to get done, so I'm hoping that by the end of Q1, I will have gotten through all of those weeks of home organization projects. We shall see. She has like a whole printable pack on her website. I will see if I can find it and link it for you if you're interested. The next thing on my list was food prep, and I did it the first week, and then I did it this week. But the 2 middle weeks of the month, we were all sick, and so I didn't do anything. Homeschool planning, I did homeschool planning this week, and I did reverse record keeping last week, but it's been chaotic and not back to normal yet. So the last thing on my weekly action items is my screen-free and passion project days. This is related to our homeschool goal, and we have actually done that every single week. We have a screen-free day on Friday, and even when the kids were sick, we still adhered to that. And the passion projects are a Wednesday day, and the kids still were working on that stuff even when they were sick. They still were doing those things on Wednesdays. So we haven't had Wednesday or Friday yet this week, but I do expect us to continue doing that. And then finally, my daily habits. And I was really going to focus on my morning routine this month, and I wanted to get back to the basics of my write the word, journaling, and then I wanted to also add in reading nonfiction and walking in the morning. And I'm trying something new where I'm walking in the morning in the winter. In the spring and summer, I do tend to go outside and walk early in the morning. But once it gets to be winter, I don't want to be up early. I don't want to put on exercise clothes. I don't want to go in the basement to walk on the treadmill. It's really depressing and cold. And so I'm not really motivated to do that. But I know that as the day gets going, and once the day gets started, and once we start homeschooling, and then I transition to some of my work stuff in the afternoon, I will not stop to exercise. I used to be really good about exercising in like around the 4 o'clock time frame, but now I'm typically making dinner then. And so, this was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when Emma and Jack were teeny tiny. It wasn't as much of a big deal for me to go to the gym at 4 o'clock or whatnot, but now it's not really something that works for our schedule. So I'm trying to walk in the morning. I did really good the first week until Friday the 10th, which was the first day that, Thursday night, Lucy got a fever, and so I was up all night, and then that was just kind of, we didn't do any walking until yesterday. Yesterday I started in the morning again. So these are most likely all going to carry over. Write the word, I did pretty much every day until last week, and then last week I was just so sick I didn't do anything. Reading nonfiction, again, I started out the month strong with that first week, but then I hadn't done anything for a couple of weeks. And journaling, same thing. I started out the month with getting a few days in, and then nothing for a couple of weeks, and then I just started again yesterday. And then the last daily habit that I have is to read during the day, and this is relating to my rhythms and systems goal, but also just relating to like hobbies and resting overall. And so when I read in the middle of the day, I have to stop what I'm doing. I can't be doing anything else. I'm like reading a physical book or reading on my Kindle, not an audiobook, which I listen to audiobooks all the time. The way people listen to podcasts, I listen to audiobooks. I actually did read every single day until the 24th. And then I had finished Onyx Storm and just really I don't have a book to read right now. So I haven't been reading during the day because I just don't know what to read. I thought that I would read Fireborn, and I checked that out from the library, and I read about 150 pages, but it just wasn't, it's a good book, but I just wasn't feeling it. I needed something different. And so I just haven't been reading the past several days because I don't have a book, but hopefully I will find a new book and we will get back to that. But that was one thing that I could do while I was sick because I wasn't doing anything else. I was just laying on the couch, sitting on the couch, giving the kids medicine, sitting on the couch again, trying to survive. So that is my January. It was okay. I did get quite a bit done at the beginning of the month, and then I've gotten quite a bit done over the past several days, and so I feel good about things. But in the middle of the month, I really wasn't doing anything besides reading, and so yeah, I will see. I'm not sure what I want to put on February's plan. February is a short month, but it's also the longest homeschool month for me because it's still cold, it's still dark. We're still doing normal homeschool curriculum. I haven't started to really think about the next year yet, but maybe I will spend a lot of time working on figuring out what Emma is going to do. And so maybe the days won't be as challenging. So I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to set up February and we'll just see what comes out of it. Okay, friends, so it is a couple of days later that I am recording this part of the video. I did turn the camera around and I sat down, and number one, I realized I needed to do more brainstorming before I could actually set up my tending list. And then I remembered, I don't know why I forgot this. This is the normal occurrence of this event every single month, that I need to do my monthly reset, planning out my personal calendar, my family calendar, before I can actually sit down and write out what I want to do for the month. I don't know why like that slipped my mind. I think that probably it is just because January was so chaotic and I just didn't know what to do for February, because I feel like a lot of February is going to be a repeat of January, essentially, because I had wanted to get through a lot of decluttering projects and I didn't, and I've wanted to do some more home organizing things, which I hope to get to this month. We will see. So I do have my goals here, and I do have my markers that I'm using for color coding this year. And usually I will also use this color coding sticker book from Cultivate What Matters because I've liked the colors, but they didn't really match. I was really looking for a different color here and like a darker blue this year, because I wanted my markers and my stickers to match, but I realized that I can just use the markers. I don't need to use the stickers. So I do have all of my markers here for color coding, and I have my goals at a glance. This is the second copy I've made of this because I misplaced the first one. I also have my goals notebook here for 2025. I wish that I had gotten the B5 size and not the A5 size. And part of that is because my wildcard pages don't fit in here. They kind of do. They are like exactly the same size, so I can like put a paper clip in here, but that's kind of annoying because I would just slip all of my wildcard pages that I'm using, like my quarterly action plan pages and all of that stuff in here, and now they don't fit. So this is going to be a mess this year, and my pages are not going to stay as nice and neat. I said that I had to take some time to brainstorm, and I did a little bit, but not like a ton. And I really don't know how I'm going to manage February at the moment. So looking back on January goals, there are some things that I do want to focus on. I use these 6 boxes in multiple ways. I don't always put the goal. I usually will put a project and then break the project down more and then take these steps and either put them in the monthly project section, weekly rhythms, or daily habits. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing today. I know that for homeschool, which is actually, that's the category. My goal itself is create a learning environment that inspires my kids' passions and prepares them for real-world independence. A lot of that is with Emma being in her last year of homeschool high school this year, and she will have completed her 4th year of high school. She did a full freshman year course load when she was in 8th grade for homeschooling, and she wants to quote unquote graduate this year and kind of have a celebration of the work that she's done. However, she doesn't want to have the big graduation party until 2026, when all of her friends are graduating from public school and when she would be graduating if she were in public school. She's not planning on going away to college in the fall. She may take dual enrollment classes. She may join a homeschool high school co-op and do some of that stuff. We're really unsure, but I think that we have come to the decision that we're going to kind of hold off on like a graduation party and stuff until 2026 and continue to register her as a homeschooler for the 2025-2026 homeschool year. We'll see. So I did have Emma meeting on my January list, and I'm going to put it again here. I need to go through homeschool bins, which I did not do in January, and I actually cleaned out a closet in our living room and I moved all of the games into our office. So I'm going to put some of the homeschool stuff, the homeschool bins, into that closet in our living room and hope that that is a good place for them. I really want to focus on all the homeschool curriculum in the basement, but that is also like part of the home goal of decluttering. And so it's kind of under 2 spots, but the basement actually is more than just the homeschool stuff. So if I have it in 2 places, I also need to start, do I want to start brainstorming 2025, 2026? Probably. And this is just going to be in my Erin Condren teacher planner. I will just set up lists for each of my kids to jot down ideas as they come to me, because there are homeschool content creators that start sharing curriculum for next year in February. And it is insane to me because even though we're pretty far into our year, by the end of February, I don't feel like I can really make decisions about homeschool curriculum this early. I usually do all of that stuff in June. All right, so for my home goal, the declutter section, I do want to work on the entryway closet. Sorry, you probably hear helicopters going around outside right now. They are so loud when they go over our house. It like vibrates the whole house. I want to work on the entryway closet. We have a lot of shoes and boots and like sneakers and stuff. I don't know how to organize them, and I don't have enough space in that downstairs entryway closet to keep them all. I do have a shoe stand in there, but what I would like is to just have like our winter boots and then 1 pair of shoes in there, and then put the rest of the shoes maybe in the basement. I don't want to put them in the kids' closets. I am one of those people that we're a shoes off family in the house. We do not wear shoes in the house, and I don't necessarily want to take the shoes that we wear outside and put them in the kids' closets. So I'm thinking maybe putting them in the basement, but I don't know where I can keep those organized either. I don't know. All right, so entryway closet. I do want to go through the pantry, which I typically will do in January. It is a January home weekly project from the home planner, but I haven't. And yeah, that was because I was sick. So pantry, and then I want to do the fridge and the freezer. I think I do. I did them, I feel like I did them a couple of months ago, but it was probably like 6 months ago at this point. I'm not sure. I also need to get into Jack's room and Emma's room, and I don't know. It's so hard because their rooms are so small and not well organized. We don't have the furniture that we need. It's just essentially, we moved into this house a week before everything shut down in 2020. I mean, it was a couple of weeks before, and we had sold and got rid of so much stuff, and we're planning on like getting all new stuff when we moved into the house once we were kind of in here and settled. But then COVID happened, and I've said this so many times, I feel like, and then it was like 2021 and it was still COVID, and I couldn't get the things that I wanted. And then you know, it just got pushed off and pushed off and pushed off. And I would really like to get the stuff more situated now. Like all of the cube shelves that are in the basement that we have all of our homeschool books on, I like having those, but they aren't the shelves that I wanted in the basement. I wanted to get rid of those and get new shelving that's like floor to ceiling in another part of our basement. Anyways, this year I'm just trying to keep working through things, and hopefully we will get to a point where things will be how we want them. We shall see. All right, so for creating restful rhythms and systems, last month I had wanted to focus on my morning routine, which I didn't do that well. So I'm going to put that down again. I would also like to focus on reading during the day and walking in the morning. Technically, this is during my morning routine, but I'm trying to just get back to the basics of my write the word, journaling, coffee, planning, and then reading nonfiction in the morning, and then walking. And I have done a pretty good job of that on the 2 weeks in January that I was feeling okay, and which has been this past week and then like the first week in January. I did not walk this morning because it's my monthly reset day, and so I'm going to try and walk after my live stream this afternoon. But what else do I want to do? I would like to go through my yarn. I feel like I've put this on my list a few times, and I kind of go through it, but not really. I have like a basket of yarn upstairs and one in my office closet with like in process projects downstairs, and then just a bunch of yarn upstairs. Some of the yarn I have purchased over the years because it just looks pretty or it feels nice or I just like it, but I never get enough to do like an actual project. And so I probably should just donate some of it because I'll never match it to anything unless I plan to do some sort of like a weather blanket or scarf, or like a reading blanket or scarf. I could potentially do that. Restful rhythms. I am just going to go and look at my brainstorm lists for when I set up my goals to make sure that I am kind of focusing on things. The other thing is, I don't know if I can really put this month. If I can put another kind of new thing, because one of the things that I'm trying to do is to get pictures printed out and like organized more, starting with just January 2025, not going back. So I will put pictures down because I do want to continue printing out pictures for the month. I'll probably put that on my weekly rhythm section. Where did I have it? I actually had it on the monthly section. And this walk is also part of my wellness. Create a wellness rhythm that balances health, joy, and creativity. And actually, are the pictures that too? Kind of. They kind of go into different spots. And so is the yarn, honestly. So it's I know that I said this when I set up my goals for 2025. A lot of my goals kind of overlap with one another. And so like the restful rhythms, I'm kind of thinking of that as like my daily habits and weekly rhythms. And so when I talk about going for a walk every morning, yes, that is actually part of my health and wellness goal, but it's also part of my rhythms and habits goal. And so same thing with yarn, because I want to focus on creativity this year and creating more. And that's partly work stuff, content stuff, but also just the handicrafts that I used to do all of the time that I haven't done since we've moved into this house, essentially. And then the same thing with the pictures. So I would like to do some yoga with Emma. I would like to continue with my walking and even this reading during the day. Gosh, I feel like they're all the same. I am also going to put rest here because I need to continue to focus on rest. And if I don't put it down, I just won't really think about it. For my adventuring goal with the kids, we have our homeschool break this month. We do like a 6 weeks on, 1 week off schedule, and so we will have a break in February. And I would like to plan a fun thing to do that week. Plan fun, I don't know, field trip? No, I don't know how I want to plan fun excursion and then do it. I also was supposed to do passports in January, but obviously we didn't because everybody was sick, so I need to do that again. And then focus on our passion project days and screen-free days, and then just getting out of the house because, we've been sick. It's been below 0 temperatures. It's just been terrible. Now, the last goal that I have is my work goal. Create sustainable growth in my work in order to support my family's future. At the beginning of the year, I said that I was going to move my work goals back into my power sheets because I just need to keep track of stuff so that I see it all in one place. However, I realized that my projects for work, there's too many things to keep on my tending list. And so I can put like Townsend House here, but I can't necessarily keep track of all of my projects. So let's see, what is my priority for the month? I think that it is going to be home reset, which probably isn't the right term, and homeschool. And I really want to focus on that week off that we have on decluttering and just getting rid of the stuff in the house. And part of the struggle for me is that a lot of it is really good quality, and so I save it. I will box it up because I think I can sell this. I'm pretty sure that I've mentioned this many times in previous goals videos, that I have the space to store the stuff, and if it's organized and put away, it really doesn't bother me. But I think that I just need to get rid of the stuff. And so that is going to be my priority this month. Homeschool has to continue being the priority because we essentially have February and March are kind of the last 2 really big months of homeschooling for us for the homeschool year. Yes, we will continue to homeschool in April and probably a little bit of May. Then the kids will transition to their passion projects in like May, June, but I won't have a ton of stuff to be working on with them. So these next 2 months are really focused on a lot of book learning and things that I'm teaching the kids. So that does need to be a focus. Okay, encouraging words. I don't have any encouraging words right now. That's okay. All right, so the first thing that I want to put on my list for February in the monthly projects, I call this monthly projects, and I am going to say Emma meeting. We have actually talked about starting a podcast. I'm not a podcaster. I don't really listen to podcasts, but podcasts seem to be all the rage, and they have been for many years. But I was kind of thinking that it might be fun for us to do like a bi-weekly podcast where we sit down and chat about homeschooling and homeschooling high school and stuff like that. I don't know. I know this is a goals video, but if you're interested in potentially hearing a podcast with a homeschool mom and her senior homeschooler, let me know. I think, or if you have topic ideas, I would love to hear them. So I want to do the meeting. I want to do the homeschool bins, the homeschool curriculum. I'm going to put that under declutter. Brainstorming lists. I could probably actually do that today during my monthly reset. I don't know if I should have wasted a line for that. Well, I've put it down. Then for decluttering, I don't know how this is going to work. All right, weekly action items, homeschool planning, homeschool lists for the kids. I have gotten out of the habit of writing out the curriculum or what we are working on each week for my kids. Even though I do write it in my planner, it is so much better when I actually give that information also to my kids. We do go over it on Monday. The kids do have access to my planner if they wanted to look at it to see what is written down. But I have found over the years that for me personally, it works so well if I just write out their list for the week. I essentially just copy it from my planner, and then I give each kid one of these pages so that they have it and they can check things off. When I do that, things get done, and I just need to get back into the habit of doing this. So these are just, I don't even know if Erin Condren has these. I know that there are different ones. I like this one. I think it's from the Focus line because it's gray, but I like this one specifically because it has the most lines. And as Emma and Jack got into high school, or really middle school, I realized I needed more space to write these things down. I used to have one that was like this size that I used for the kids, and it just had like shorter boxes, but this one works really well. It's not that pretty, but I will leave a link for it if it's still available. I know that they do have Week at a Glance notepads, some kind of version. So whatever I can find, I will leave linked for you. My AM routine here, I'm not going to write out the steps, which are my coffee Bible plan. And the Bible part is Write the Word journals. And in fact, I think they are releasing new Write the Word journals next week, that they're doing like a whole revamp of their Write the Word journals because it's the 10th anniversary. I have been using the Write the Word journals since they first came out 10 years ago. Absolutely love them, and it really helped my morning routine because I did want to do some Bible, but especially when my kids were little, like 10 years ago when my kids were, 6 months and 4 and 6, it was really challenging to have any sort of morning routine. I'm pretty sure that I have all kinds of day in the life videos from way back then, if you go way back in my YouTube, as well as all kinds of stuff over on my website talking about the challenges and just trying to figure out how to get into a good rhythm. It was a real challenge for me when my kids were little, and the Write the Word journals were so instrumental in helping me continue that practice. It was giving me time to write out a little scripture, write what I'm grateful for, do a little journaling, figure out a priority for the day, and then, just be able to check off that little bit of Bible study, knowing that I did not have an immense amount of time to sit down and really deep dive on Bible. And it's very similar to now, although completely different life stage. My kids are older, but they do get up early. We do start homeschool relatively early. And so for me, it's easier to do Write the Word in the morning and have that as my main morning routine. And then later in the day, a few times a week, I can sit down and really deep dive on Bible study with other resources. But it takes some of the pressure off of me because there have been many years where I've tried to do, an hour's worth of Bible study in the morning, and it's not feasible for me to do that with all of the other things that I also have on my list to do, primarily work-related stuff. I try to do the majority of my work before homeschool even starts. So that's really from like the 4:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. time frame that I'm doing a lot of work stuff. And that's just how it's been since 2011 when I started working for myself. So anyways, that was a lot of just chatting. So my AM routine, and then I want to put walk. I also want to put read. And then up here, I will do weekly planning. I know it seems kind of strange for me to put these things down because I do them almost every week. I mean, there are rarely weeks that go by that I don't do my planning on Sunday. And that's just how it's been since about 2015, I guess, 2014. Yeah, 2014. And I just make sure that I do that every week because it keeps me on track. Obviously there are weeks that I don't do it, and I didn't plan for several weeks in January because I felt so awful. So I am doing this. It is a habit, but it helps me to write it down, to see this rhythm that I have to do weekly. It helps me also because if I don't write it down, I may plan a lot of other things, but I know these things take time. It takes time for me to plan out my homeschool each week. I do overarching homeschool plans for the year. I choose my curriculum for the year, but the curriculum that we use isn't, I mean, a lot of it is, here is the next day's work, but a lot of it is also just kind of subjective as to how we're going to manage the resources, how we're going to break up the week. And I like to go in and do that weekly. It just helps me not ever feel behind because I'm not looking at a plan that I made at the beginning of the year saying, okay, well, we were sick this week and we were gone on a vacation this week, and that kind of threw things off. I mean, you can plan some of that, but not as well as weekly planning. And so that's what I do, weekly homeschool planning. Just chatting a lot today, guys. Okay, let me see. I also want to, I should have put Sabbath over here, and I'm going to put that here. And then I'm also going to put read with the kids here. So I'm going to put declutter, and then I am going to put basement / homeschool curriculum, the entryway, closet, pantry, fridge, and freezer. I'm running out of room, and kids' rooms, passports, and plan fun trip. I don't know why I put passion projects and screen-free days on adventuring. Oh, yes, I do. All right, even though these are also my homeschool, I don't even know if this is in the camera frame right now, but what I wanted to do is have some excursions on our passion project days, like doing our passion projects in another location. However, some of that is a little bit challenging because a lot of, well, they can probably do it all on their computers, maybe like at the library or the coffee shop. I think that is something that we can do. And then also doing something outside on screen-free days, not necessarily outside, but just leaving the house, going on some like field trips and stuff like that. So, okay. And then yoga with Emma and Lucy, actually, because she will do it too. I don't know if Jack will do yoga or not. I think that is everything. Now let's do some stickers. Oh, you know what I didn't do? My monthly reset day, which is the 27th. Somebody took one of my pens from the room. Okay, it makes more sense if I do this with a ruler, but we're just gonna wing it. Okay, and then there are only 4 weeks in the month. Okay, now I'm going to do some stickers and see, okay, so this is a good example. I don't have any space for work goals, and I do have work stuff that I want to do. So, oh my goodness, guys, I struggle. I really struggle. And I don't know why that is, but there you go. And to continue my season of slow, I'm going to put that there. Okay guys, so here is my February. I am really excited about it. I think it's going to be a good month. At least that is the hope. Obviously last month did not go at all how I expected, but I am feeling good about February, especially because I have that week off from homeschool. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you're looking for more help and encouragement around home and homeschooling and goals, I would love for you to come check out my membership community. That link is always in the description box. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks guys, bye.